Merry meet, guys. Welcome back to Witches of the Moon. I am your Wednesday host, Houston, and this week, week 3, we are talking about familiars. So instead of talking about the physical familiar, which can be an animal that you are tightly bonded with and that wants to be a part of your magical practice, that you have a connection with, you feel their emotions, they feel yours, kind of connection. The animal may enhance your psychic abilities, it may enhance your power through ritual. Those are some of the traits of a physical familiar. I wanted to talk about a spirit familiar. The spirit familiar for me, I first learned about it in a book that I read in high school called Spirit Familiar by Raven Gramassi. Either Spirit Familiar or Spirit Familiars. I just know it has this orange and yellow kind of gross looking cover. But it talks about how you can make contact with spirits, build a relationship with them, and a ritual you can do once, they agree to work with you to make the spirit kind of your familiar, kind of bind it to you. So I wanted to talk about that, what the advantages are, what you can and what you should and shouldn't do, in my opinion. It's my opinion. So starting out with any spirit work, which this is what this is, working with a spirit familiar, spirit work, you do want to work on your meditation. You want to work on developing your psychic abilities. You want to work on divination, because those are going to be the main things that you communicate with your spirit familiar, with. I don't have the gift of sight yet. It's possible it could happen in the future. But as of right now, I don't. So I can't see things in the physical. Everything I see is through my mind's eye. I hear with my inner ear. I sense things. Not so much that my nose is stuffed up. Getting over a cold. But so you want to work on those psychic abilities. You want to start working with, I don't want to say the lighter spirits, because I'm not a big fan of light and dark, but the easier to communicate spirits, which would be the spirits of plants. You could communicate with your plants, your house plants, plants outside, spirit of a tree, spirits of your crystals. The crystals are and on the other end, you could, I don't have my book, I should have brought it with me, but they do talk in the book, the Lesser Key of Solomon, and the Keys of Solomon, all the 3 books. It talks about how the king itself, bound 72 demons, whether they be fallen angels or demons, and some of the demons in the book said they give great familiars. So you could work through the Goetia, the Keys of Solomon, work with calling on the spirits that give good familiars that are pretty good, that, I'm not going to say call one right off the bat without doing research, especially if you're not really into ceremonial magic. Do your research, know what you need to do, protect yourself. That's with any kind of spirit communication, always have protection on you. And working with spirits, gods and goddesses included, they do grant you, they will, if asked, not saying they do, like they automatically, you've worshipped me for a year and a day, you get a familiar. No, not like that. If you ask them and you've built a reputation with them and you say you feel kind of you need help in your craft, and there's no one around you to help you. You say, can you help me, or can you give me a familiar spirit, or gift me a familiar spirit, or let me, I don't want to say gift, because that's kind of presumptuous. You can ask for help. And the help could be in the form that they help you, or they give you a familiar spirit. I take back the whole, can you gift me? That's really presumptuous. I wouldn't do that. Sorry. So, the benefits of having a spirit familiar, or familiars, you can have more than one, is they can really do, like, sorry, the Salem Witch Trials, you know, the spirit inhabits a particular animal, and the animal goes forth and does reconnaissance. That's something that is possible. Usually the spirits, in my experience, don't take on a physical appearance unless they really, really, really need to get your attention. Then they'll, you know, take on a physical appearance to grab your attention, and so you ask what's going on, you know, things like that. It's usually in grave instances, or if you're just being rockhead, like hard-headed like I am. Unfortunately, my spirit family has to do that a lot. But some of the other things it can help you with, just like gods and goddesses, ancestors, spirit guides, they can be called on a ritual. Each of my spirit familiars, I am building a relationship with. Some of them I don't really know. Some of them I do. Like I've met them once or twice in meditation is what I mean. I don't really know. Like I know what they look like. But I don't know them. Excuse me again. Some of them I have worked with. Some of I know one I have called upon myself. Actually, me and my sister worked on an incantation to call a specific type of familiar, and it came, and I asked if it wanted to be a familiar. We did the ritual, and I have a vessel for it. I put its link in a vessel. The vessel is more like a cell phone with their speed dial on it. So if I ever wanted to get in contact with a familiar, I could either say the spirit's name, think of the spirit with the spirit's name, or hold the vessel and do the same thing. The vessel does allow for a quicker time where you feel the presence, but the name still works. So I hope that made sense. But in my opinion, I do believe, and I'm not going to say that because I mean there are spirits out there that don't want to work with humans, don't want to work with witches. I would highly advise you not to make a pact or make a familial bond with someone who doesn't want to work with you. That could end up really bad, very bad. So stay protected. Some other things they can do. They can definitely help you with divination. Like I said, reconnaissance. They can help you when you're low on energy. Like if you're having a sick day like I am, and you need, for whatever reason, something comes up at work, or comes up during the day, and you don't have the umph to make it go your way, but you really want it to go your way. If you have that familial bond, your spirit familiar can pick up on that. And if they've worked with you a long time, they'll know what you want, what you would like, and it'll help. Another thing I'm going to say before closing, because my nose is getting worse, is if you do work with a familiar spirit, and I can go into a lot more detail, how to contact one and all that jazz. I may do that for choose your topic this season. Idea. So that's what I'll do. So if you have a spirit familiar, what I mean by spirit familiar, I keep saying that, and I'm not explaining. I don't mean your guardian angel. I don't mean deities. I don't mean your spirit guides. I don't mean your animal totems, your spirit animals. I don't mean that at all. Those spirits are not. They can do the same thing as familiars, but they're not labeled familiars. There's different labels from different cultures. I do believe the term. Don't get me wrong, or don't quote me. I believe the term spirit familiar or familiar spirit is from British traditional witchcraft. I believe it's not a branch of witchcraft that I've studied. I have studied a little bit. The Cornish witch, or the Cornish book of something, and the Thorn. These are books I got from the library. I don't have them anymore. The Thorn-blooded witch, the Thorn something. I don't know. They talked about familial spirits and how to contact them and how to bind them to you, how to put them in a spirit vessel, which can be anything from a necklace to a stone to your glasses to a witch's bottle to basically anything that can hold a charge. I don't recommend putting, and I say plastic, and my glasses are plastic. Just because plastic doesn't hold a charge. I'm not saying plastic is not magical, because I do use plastic in my practice, but I don't know how that would work for a spirit vessel. I never really thought to put a spirit in my glasses until now, and I'm not sure I like that. Charging and charming your glasses are totally different than binding a spirit to your glasses. So, back on track. Last thing I want to say is if you do have a familiar spirit, just like you would give your physical familiar or pet treats for doing a good job if they're training, or food, water, bathe them, brush them, clean them. You want to do the same thing with your spirit familiar. You don't want to just leave it hanging and let it collect all the gunk, because another one of the charges of a spirit familiar would be to protect you from malicious magic, just like some physical familiars do. They absorb the negative magic that's supposed to go to you, and they take on the effects. So I suggest if you have a spirit familiar, working with their spirit familiar, spirit family, going through a cleansing ritual, protection ritual for them and you, offering them food, drink, incense to cleanse them, but also nourish them. Leave things out as offerings, Find out if they have a favorite food, if they like something from this plane, or they like a particular taste, like sour. I have one familiar spirit who likes soda, orange soda. I also have a couple familiar spirits who like red wine. I have a couple that like honey, water, coffee, chocolate, flowers. These are all popping into my head now. Meat, books to be read to. It doesn't have to be something physical. If you can't afford an extra bottle of wine, or you're not of age, or you can't grab a soda because you don't drink soda, or you just can't afford some extra candy or something like that, if you just can't afford it, you can always offer your time and energy. You can do meditations with them to recharge yourself and them. You can also read stories to them. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but from my personal experience, they like that. Because usually, Not all the time, but usually they're not. They're mostly found in the astral, because they're summoned to here, or their own realm, if that's something you believe in. I do. So they don't know much about human. Some do, some don't. About human stories. So sometimes they just want to hear about your day if you didn't have the vessel with you today. And as you can tell, I do have a lot of different spirit familiars. So I call them my spirit family. So, So if there's anything else you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns on, please leave them down below for me in the comment section. I'm going to end this here before I continue rambling and make myself look like an idiot. And until next week, guys, many blessings.